Cedar Point, the roller coaster capital of the world. It lives to its name. 4 phenomenal B&Ms, 4 phenomenal instruments, home of the original Strata, Giga, and Hypercoasters. It's a bucket list theme park for many. That's why we're going to be ranking the top 10 roller coasters at Cedar Point. Now before we start the video, please advise that these are just my personal opinions. Now let's get back to the video. So coming in at number 10 we have Rougarou. First off, the first hill is an interesting way of going. After the train is off the chain, it takes a small 180-degree right turn into a tiny dip, then down the hill we have a 100+ tall foot loop, then shortly after that, we got some mid-course, the bad type. Then there's these ginormous corkscrews that you go through, but they do add a little rattle up against your head to that section of the ride. And I do think they should have made the ride longer, even though they already used most of the room there. But anyway, also not to mention the theming on this ride is pretty good. The dirty water beneath the layout really adds to that wilderness tiger kind of theme. So for those reasons, we are placing that at number 10. Coming in right after that, we have Raptor. Now this roller coaster, let's just say it's mainly good for its excessive amount of inversions. It gives you that kick of adrenaline every thrill seeker is looking for. Now don't get me wrong, it's a decent coaster, but knowing it's a floorless coaster and it has a lot of inversions, you may not want to bring pocketless pants or shorts that day because I lost my iPod on that ride. But anyways, this coaster is still a good B&M with a cool layout. Now coming in at number 8 we have Gatekeepers. Now this roller coaster hits different. This coaster is by far the smoothest roller coaster I've ever been on. Also that first hill is unique. You don't see many coasters that do a whole hamburger flip, then down the hill we have another loop. It has an amazing theming and layout. Going through the keyholes creates some amazing floater. However, I do wish it was a bit faster going through the keyholes and above the normal hills. But other than that, a good color scheme and ride. Coming in 2 spots behind the top 5 we have Wicked Twister. First off, the launch is super fun. Going from 0 to 75, then spiraling up about 240 feet after the second spiral up the other side. It's just amazing. Also, it does go over 200 feet, so is that considered a hyper? Probably not, because it's not a full circuit roller coaster. But let me know down in the comments. But it's just a unique coaster. The only thing I don't like about it is it does have a bit of a rattle, and it's a short ride and kind of basic, but it's still fun. Coming in right behind the top 5, we have the original hypercoaster, Magnum XL200. Now we all know this ride is known for its pain on your thighs you get after coming over the top head of each hill. But what most thrill seekers don't mention are those airtime hills at the end. Yeah, they hurt, but they do end up lifting your butt off the seat at least 6 inches. Especially on those bunny hills. Sheesh! Each airtime hill, there's a bit of a jerk that lifts riders off their seats. However, I would say there is a rattle after the first couple hills into the helix. But other than that, a great coaster for a ride that's 31 years old. Starting off the top 5, we have Bellringen. Now I know, y'all are gonna hate me for this, but people underestimate this coaster. First off, the dive. There's not that many out there. And this ride is the only ride that I will allow mid-course brake run, because after that mid-course, you drop straight down, then go up into a looter with some floater. The only thing I would say is what most of you are probably already thinking, it's a short ride. If they would have made it longer, it probably would have been in my top 4. I don't know, maybe. But this is a great coaster people underestimate, so that's why it starts off the top 5. Coming in at number 4, the original Giga coaster, Millennium. Gotta love Millennium Forest. First off, it's a Giga, one of the rarest type of coasters in the world. Second, that view right off the lake when you get to the top of the hill is just gorgeous. I actually used to be afraid of riding on the left side of the train because there's no guardrail on the left side of that train, so you just see this big, but gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous, but I used to be so afraid of it. But I've overcome that fear. Anyways, after that first hill, you go up that turnaround hill that's super long, Then down the hill we have the tunnel, and we all love tunnels. Then off the tunnel we have a bunch of hills that provide that airtime everyone looks for in a Giga. Not to mention, but I know this isn't related to the coaster, but you can get some really good picks like this one. Anyway, one reason why this ride is number 4 is because it's not as intense as the next stop through we're coming up. So with that being said, it's a great Giga for its age. 20 years old as of 2020. Alright, starting off the top 3 we have Maverick. The number 3 and number 2 coasters were a hard battle to fight from, but I think Maverick did deserve number 3 over who's in the number 2 spot, which I'll tell you next. But anyways, let's talk about Maverick. This ride is so intense. Between that launch at the beginning and then that drop over 90 degrees, yeah, it might hurt your thighs, but with this coaster, as most of you know, you gotta put that aside. This ride lives up to its theme. It's truly wild. Those turns that flip you like you're a hamburger are so much fun. Also, there's not just one launch on the lift hill, there's 2. After a couple hills, you go into this tunnel that looks like a railroad track is coming because of the signs and the sounds. And then all of a sudden, Maverick tries to beat the train and launches it into high gear out of the tunnel from 0 to 70 miles per hour in like 3 seconds, out to the right quickly. Up a hill turn to the right, barely missing the water that shoots up because of how fast it is. Then those corkscrews at the end, and turns that flip you like a hamburger. Then those hits that may or may not hurt your thighs, but you just gotta love them. The only reason this ride is not higher than in the rankings is because it doesn't provide as much airtime as the number 2 spot. Now before I start explaining my number 2 spot, the credit to this video goes to Coaster Studios. So coming in at number 2, as you can see, is Steel Vengeance. Now I know, most of you are thinking, why not number 1? Well, I'll tell you why. Just because I put this coaster at number 2 doesn't mean I don't like it. It's phenomenal. RMC definitely did an amazing job. First off, it's a hyper hybrid. You don't see many of those around. That first hill may be loud, but right after it brings a whole lot of whips and turns and inversions. I would say one of the best parts are those extended inversions inside the wooden tracks. That's by far the best time of airtime you can get. And then after that you get some more airtime. It's truly wild. Those short little bunny hills at the end may be small, but they whip you up and down with some great airtime. This is also another one of those rides I will allow mid-course, because when it happens, you go down the hill into a loop into the tracks. It's just by far amazing. The only reason why this isn't number 1 because this isn't as fast as what number 1 is, which I'm about to say. Now coming in at number 1, last but not least, certainly not, Top Throw Dragster. The fact that this coaster goes from 0 to 120 miles per hour in about 3 seconds, that's crazy. Also, that view on the top hat is amazing. You can see the lake in every ride in the park. When you go down that hill, you don't just go straight down, you spiral down 400 feet. It's just a coaster not like many other coasters, except King Ka, tallest strata and tallest coaster. Still, this ride is phenomenal, with a really cool theming of a dragster. And you can't lie, we all love that "Baby, I'm ready to go" music in the queue. Well, that's gonna do it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe. YouTube tells me about 97% of you who watch our videos are not subscribed, so hit that subscribe button, and we might do the same for you. Just comment down below. Also, turn post notifications to all so you never miss out on any of our videos. And we'll see you guys later.